On African motifs, still working on O-level mathematics. So in this platform, we just want to focus on these questions so that we see how we're supposed to answer this part of June 2019 paper 2. It's actually June 2019 paper 2. So we shall try by all means to simplify each and every part in accordance to what you are supposed to be having in your syllabus. So we shall quickly run through the questions, but as you know, guys, our instructions, make sure that you read all the instructions that you are given. That is the most important part. And here, according to our new syllabus, we know that now we are supposed to be answering 4 questions in our section B, which is different from the previous part where we had to answer 3 questions. Now it's just 4. But for the section A, you've got to answer everything. Then if working is needed for any, it must be shown in the space below that question. So that is, if any working is needed, then omission of essential working will actually result in loss of marks. Okay, then the degree of accuracy to 3 significant figures for any number. Then for the angles to 1 decimal place, that is the most important part that you have. Anyways, let us quickly rush through the questions that we are given in this case. All right. The first part we are given, write down the term that is in the sequence, the next term in the sequence that you're given. So here we are given a sequence of the numbers that you're given: 1/3, 2/4. So this is actually 2/4. So that let me just write so it can be seen. This is 2/4. This is 3/5, 4/6. So what is the next term? What is actually happening here? You can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's simply adding 1, 1, 1. If you add 1 here, we get 2. If we add 1, we get 4. If we add 1, we get 3. If we add 1, we get 5. So simply the next term, we are going to add 1 to this 4 here. So if we add 1, the same thing is what you're going to do on this 6. You're going to add 1. So that will be 5/7. So that is the simpler part that you're going to have in this case. Okay. Express 10 as a sum of 2 different prime numbers. So you're supposed to know what are actually prime numbers. So that is the major important part there. And these prime numbers, they are supposed to be less than 10 because they are a sum of 2 for us to get 10. So what are the prime numbers? Actually, these are numbers that are actually divisible by 1 and itself. So if that is a prime number, it's divisible by 1 and itself. So which means we are referring to numbers such as 2, such as 3, such as 5, such as 7. These are the prime numbers that we have which are less than 10. And of these prime numbers, definitely we just need 2 that when we add, we are going to get 10. So which part? For 3 and 7. So 3 plus 7 is the one that is going to give us 10. So which means 10 can be obtained from 3 plus 7. All right. Then the C item 1, increase $105 by 12%. So guys, I talked about this, that if you are told to increase by a certain percentage, you know that that part that you are given, it's at 100%. So at 100%, we are given $105. This is what we have. So now there is an increase of 12%. So an increase, you have to add. So we're going to add 12% on this 100, which is going to be 112%. So you add, that's 12 plus 100, which is 112%. So what is the equivalent now of this 112%? You do not know. So actually you can use a simple proportion. This is going to be more on this side. So we're going to have 112 over 100, whatever that we get, we multiply to 105%, $105, sorry. So you can use your calculator at this stage, guys. 112 over 100 multiplied by 105. So it's 105 here, which is going to be as a decimal. That's 117.6. All right, so you're going to obtain 117.6, but this is money, so it's going to be $117.60. Okay, so that is the increase of a 12%, or you can simply calculate the 12% if possible. You can just find the 12% of what? Of $105. Whatever that you get, you add to the what? To the 105 plus. So just like this, 12% is 12 over 100. So that's 12 over 100 times that amount of 105. That is 12% of that. So now they are saying increase, which means you add this to what? To 105. So to 105, you're going to add, which means you're going to obtain the same answer just like what we had. All right, so that is the other condition that we could have used. Okay, let's cross-check the other part, which is item 2. Tendai and Chipo share $105 in the ratio of 4:3 in that order. Find Tendai's and Chipo's share. All right, so here the total is the one that you're given, that these guys, they are sharing $105 in this ratio. So the total ratio you have to add. So in this case, our total ratio is going to be 7. So out of 7, what is Tendai's here? So this is Tendai, this is Chipo here. So Tendai is going to have 4 out of 7. So Tendai here is going to have 4 out of 7 times the amount they are sharing. They are sharing $105. Which means it's the same thing for Chipo here. Chipo is obtaining 3 according to the ratio out of 7 of the amount that they are sharing of 105. So that part you can simply use your calculator. Say that, let me just save it aside. 4 over 7 times, that's 4 over 7 multiplied by 105. So this is 105, which is going to give us $60. All right. So which means Tendai is going to obtain $60. Chipo here, the same. We're just going to find 3 over 7 of that amount. That is now Chipo's share, which is going to be $45. All right. So Chipo is going to obtain $45, and this one is going to obtain $60. So that was the idea of this one. All right, so you guys have to work on these questions as much as you can. Okay, question 2, you're given that sine theta is equivalent to cos 40 degrees. All right, so find 2 possible values of theta. Okay, what are the values of theta that we can have in this case, which are equal to cos of 40 degrees? Okay, so what we actually know is that from the cos that we have here, we are given a cos of 40 degrees. So the relationship that we have between these two, because what we need is to know the value of this theta. Okay, if we are given this part, we must know that sine theta is actually equivalent to cos 90 minus theta. Okay, so for a given condition that you have, but in this case, take note what you're given. You are given the value of cos, you are given the theta of cos, like an angle of cos from cos here. So you're converting this cos to sine to say the cos of theta is also equal to sine 90 degrees minus theta. So you can take from either way. Okay, so in this case, this is our theta that we are referring to. We are saying the theta that we have, when it is on sine, it is equivalent to cos 90 minus theta. So what does it mean? It simply means our theta that we have, if it is sine, and we know that our sine is this angle here. So it means we can find theta because this is your cos that we have, which is what, 40 degrees, this one. Okay, let me just indicate this way. This is your 40 degrees, this one. So we are simply saying that from the 90 degrees minus theta, this one, we are going to equate now to 40 degrees because these two are the same. Here we are given the exact value. So 90 degrees minus theta is equal to 40 degrees. That is what I'm simply saying. So to find theta, it is going to be 90 degrees minus 40 degrees, which is equal to theta. You transpose to this side. The 40 to this side is going to be a negative, and that will be 50 degrees. Okay, so here we are going to obtain an angle of 50 degrees to represent our theta. So the theta that we have is here. So we are saying our theta can be 50 degrees. Okay, but what can be the other possible value now? We are now referring to the theta that we have to say sine of 50 degrees, because this theta that we are talking about is the one on sine. So what is the equivalent value of sine 50 degrees? That is what you ask yourself. What is the other equivalent value? From our trig, guys, this is what you're supposed to know from your angles. the angles for sine, I told you that in the second quadrant, that's where we have for you to take all students take calculus. So in the second quadrant, that's where we have our sine also being positive. The first one is here, which is the 50 degrees here. But we shall have another one in the second quadrant because sine is also positive in the second quadrant. Okay, so that is the relationship that we have with sine. The sine of the acute, remember I told you that the sine of the acute is equal to the sine of the obtuse. That's what I'm trying to explain using this part. So which means if this is 50 degrees, this is 50 degrees here. So the angle that we need is from this to this part like this, which is going to be 180 degrees minus 50 degrees, which is 130 degrees. So actually that was the condition. Or you can simply say, if you know in a better way, like this part that I've indicated here, I've explained this part actually on our trig there. If you are to cross-check on the trigonometrical ratios, I talked about also this part. So you can actually use this concept to say, since the sine of the acute angle is equal to the sine of what? Of the obtuse angle. Here I am given an acute angle of 50 degrees. Remember what I told you guys, that an acute angle and an obtuse angle, they are all on a straight line. This is your acute angle, this will be your obtuse angle. So here we know that our acute angle is 50 degrees here. So what about the obtuse? Since they are on a straight line, I'm just going to subtract 180 degrees minus 50 degrees. That would be 130 degrees. Simple like that, we can obtain this angle here. So there are so many ways. Trigonometry, guys, is something that is a lot that you can dwell into, but you just try to understand the basic part so that you can be able to answer the questions. Okay, anyways, that is what we had on this one. Let us check another part. On this question, this is the B part. We are given as a triangle, and actually here we've got 9,4. That's 9,4 and 37 degrees, 42 degrees. So in the diagram, ABC is a triangle in which AP is perpendicular. So that is perpendicular, meaning to say it's at 90 degrees. That is what we have. So this is also 90 degrees also on the side, on that side, okay? So the first question is to calculate the length of AP. Okay, so you need to find the length of this AP. So actually, guys, here is where we have the information. Triangle ABP. On ACP, we do not have any, we just give an angle. So there's nothing that we can take from this triangle. So it's best for us to work with triangle ABP because we are given an angle and also a side, and it's a right angle triangle. So the moment I see this, the first thing to think of are the trigonometrical ratios. So according to 37 degrees, this side AP that we want to calculate, remember, that's your opposite, and the one opposite to 90 degrees, that's our hypotenuse. So which ratio are we going to use from our SOHCAHTOA? Okay, so we've got SOHCAHTOA here. So as you can see, it's going to be sine, the one that has got the opposite and the hypotenuse. So the sine of theta, we know that is equivalent opposite of our hypotenuse. So that means we are going to have the sine of the angle of 37 degrees, which is equal to the opposite. In this case, is the one that you want to calculate, which is AP, over the hypotenuse, which is 9,4. So that was 9,4. So to find AP, you can simply cross multiply. That's 1 times AP. That's AP is equal to 9,4 times sine 37 degrees. So that's what you're going to have. So in this case, our AP, we just need our calculator to simplify that part. We're going to obtain something like 9.4 by sine. Let me just put this side. So this is 9,4 by sine 37 degrees. Okay, so we can have this 5,6, say 5,65 something. So to 3SF, it can be 1, 2, 3. So the 7 is going to change this 5 into 6. So it can be 5,66. So that's what you can have in centimeters in this case. Okay, so you just round off your answers properly, guys. That is the most important part, is to round off your answers properly. All right, so let's see the other part of the question. We are now given in this case to calculate the length of AC. All right, calculate the length of AC. So we are going back to our diagram. That's our AC here. Remember now we've got this part. Now we've calculated this. We got 5,66. So this is 5,66. Now we want to calculate AC. That's where now we can at least try to figure out what we have, because now we've got a side on this triangle. So working with triangle APC, we can actually obtain something here, because according to this angle of 42 degrees, this becomes the adjacent. So we have got the adjacent here. And we want to calculate AC, which is the hypotenuse. So adjacent hypotenuse, that's cos. So we're going to have cos of theta, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is cos theta, the angle that you're given of 42 degrees is the adjacent, which is 5,66 over the hypotenuse, which is the AC that you're supposed to calculate. So from the information that we have, this we can actually cross multiply at least to remove the fractions. So that will be AC times sine cos 42, that's AC, cos of 42 degrees, which is 1 times 5,66, that's 5,66. So to find AC, we are going to divide by cos of 42 degrees both sides by cos of 42 both sides. So this can cancel. So that means our AC is going to be what? We'll just use your calculator here, 5.66 over cos 42 degrees. So that's cosine of 42 degrees like this. So we're going to obtain 7,616 something. So if round off is going to be 7,62. All right, so this is going to be 7,62. All right, so something like that. So now, because of the rounding off, remember, if been rounding off this and that, it's going to affect actually your answers. So make sure that you just maintain the degree of accuracy that you are being told to use on that part. Okay, so that is what you actually have here. The other part on C is actually C. Now that you are given in the diagram, A, B, C are points on the circumference of a circle. So this is what we have, 3y and 4y plus what? 4y plus 4. So that's what you're given in terms of what? In terms of y. This is a 3y and 4y here. This is 3y, and this is actually 4y plus 4. That's 4y plus 4. Okay, so write down an expression in terms of y, the reflex AOC. So the reflex AOC, this is one, the reflex the AOC. So we actually know that the reflex is actually taken from what? The 360 concept. This angle stayed up to 360 degrees. So this one is just going to be 360 degrees minus 3y. So that is the reflex. Or we can simply use this concept to say angle at the center is twice angle at the circumference. This is the one that is at the circumference. This is the one at the center. So it means the reflex AOC was also to be taken as 2 times the 4y plus 4. That is, angle at the center is twice angle at the circumference. So that means you can have it this way, or you can expand brackets, it's fine, but it's one and the same thing. All right. So on the other part now, they are now saying find the value of y. So you see now where this part is going to work, because remember we said these two answers are the same. The reflex here in terms of y of 360 minus, and this one, they are the same. So you can equate them now to find the value of y. So you can say 360. Okay, let's just remove this part here. That will be 360 degrees. So it's going to be 360 degrees minus 3y is equal to these two, because they are the same. This is reflex AOC, this is reflex AOC. So you can equate these two. That's 2 times 4, which is 8y, 2 times 4, which is 8. So this is an equation that you have created. So by solving this, you can find the value of y. So what can we do? You can obtain or avoid working with negatives, especially for y. So you can transpose the 8 to this side. It's going to be 360 minus 8, which is equal to, already we have got 8y on the right-hand side. So if we transpose minus 3y to this side, it's going to be plus 3y. Okay, so subtract 360 minus 8, that's 352. 8 plus 3, which is 11y. So you can divide by 11 by 11. So what is the value of y here? So it's 352 divided by 11. 352 divided by 11, which is 32. So which means y is equal to 32. That is the idea here. Okay, so as you can see, guys, that's what we had. It's a matter of understanding the question, actually. Understand how the question is given. Okay, 3A Tariro bought $7, that is $7 for 91.70 puller from a bank. Find the exchange rate in the form of $1 as to M. So here we are given a proportion that to work on. So you're simply saying, for what Tariro bought here, it was $7 actually, okay, which is equivalent to how many puller here? That's 791.70 puller. That's what we are having there. So what is the equivalent for a dollar? What are you going to have? So for each dollar that you're going to have, we do not know the equivalent in the puller. So it's going to be less, as you can see. 7 was this, so this one is going to be lesser. So that will be 1/7 times this amount. So it's going to be 1/7 times, say, 91.70 in puller. So your answer is going to be in what? In pullers. So that's the concept. So you can actually use the calculator. So let's see what you're going to have. 1/7 times 1/7 multiplied by 91.70, which is 7, like that. Okay, so it's going to be 131/10, which is 13,1. So this is going to be 13,10 puller per each dollar that you're going to have. So because we need 1 S2, so this one will be $1. Okay, then let me do this. That will be $1 as to 13.0 puller. That was the idea there. Okay, then at the item 2, now we are given that the bank charged 1% commission for the transaction. Calculate the amount Tariro received. So these guys, they're actually taking a certain commission out of what? Out of this amount. So remember, Tariro here in this case, she is working with what? With the dollars in this case, because this is what she got. Tariro bought $7. So she bought $7. Okay, so which means she is having US dollars in this case, but she's going to be charged 1% as a commission. So what are you going to do? You are going to say out of the commission that is going to be subtracted from the amount of $7, the one that she has. So we can find 1% of this $7, which is 1/100 times $7. That is 1% of $7. So this is 1% of what? Of $7. So these zeros are not important when you're calculating, so you can actually remove this part and just work out with this. So 1/100 times 7, as you can see, is going to give us 0.07. So make sure that you multiply properly from your calculator, dollars. So that's 1% of $7. So this is what they're going to take as their commission now. So which means Tariro is going to receive how much? She has $7, which is, she was supposed to receive $7. But now, because of a commission, they're going to take away, that is to remove this decimal of 0.0. So you subtract the decimal part there. So it's 7 minus 0.07. Okay, 7 minus 0.07. That is what she's going to have. So she's going to receive $6.93. Okay, so it's going to be $6.93. This is what she's going to receive. All right, so that was the idea of the question, or you can use the percentage concept. Remember, 1% of a certain value, you can actually add 1% to 100, then you multiply, or you can subtract, because this one is it's a commission, so you subtract. So many ways actually. Okay, B, in a sale, the original price of a suit is reduced by 16% to $210. Okay, so here we are given a condition of a suit which was reduced from its original price to $210. Calculate the original price of the suit before the sale. So this is the question. What is it before the sale? Okay, remember, when there's a sale, if there is a reduction, you're going to have a reduction in terms of, which means you subtract. Everything, guys, has to be at 100% when you start. So you started at 100%. But we do not know that amount at 100%. That one was our original price before. We had an original price which was 800%. But now there's a sale we have to reduce by 16%. So which means we're going to have 100 minus 16%. So which is going to give us something like 84%. So we are now saying at 84%, that's when we bought this suit at $210. So what was the actual price, the original price before this 84% occurred? Okay, this is 84, not 85. Before this 84% occurred, or a reduction of 16% occurred, what was the original price? So it's going to be more here. So it's 100 over 84 multiplied by the amount that we are given of 210. So that is the original price that was there before the decrease occurred. So 100 over 84 is what? 100 over 84. Remember, we are multiplying to the actual amount, to the amount which was there now of 210. So we multiply to 210. This will be 250. So it means we had this price at $250 before a decrease occurred. Okay, so that was the condition on this one. I don't know if it is going to be clear, but that's what we had. William invested P dollars at a rate of 3% per annum, simple interest. So this is a simple interest that you're given. After 5 years, you got $210 simple interest. Calculate the value of P. So P is the principal, that is the amount invested. So we actually know that the interest, so this is simple interest, guys, where we know our formula that interest is equivalent to the principal times the rate times the time over 100. So you can simply substitute here. We've got the interest that she got later on, which is $2,010. The principal, we do not have. The rate we are given that it's at 3% times the time, which is in years, for 5 over 100. So that's simply what you're going to have. So we can cross multiply here. That's 2010 times 100 is going to be 201,000, which is equal to 3 times 5, that's 15p. So to find p, you can just divide by 15 this side. So that is going to be the principal. All right, so if we divide properly, we are going to obtain something like $13 for 100. That's what you're going to obtain. Okay, that's our principal amount, the money that was invested. Okay, the D part now, we have another guy which is called John, who invested $600. So this one invested $600 for 3 years at 4% per annum. But this time, this one is using compound interest. So remember, guys, I told you that the compound interest, that is where we've got our amount, which is equivalent to the principal into 1 plus the interest rate to the power of n, which is the number of years, or this interest, you can put it as R, which is the rate. Okay, that is the rate by the way the money is increasing, or from that investment. So the question is for you to calculate the total amount. This A is the total amount. So your A is going to be the principal now, which is the money that you invested, which he invested $600. So John invested 600 plus into 1 plus the interest rate now, it's 4%. So remember, to remove percentage, you're going to have it as a 4 over 100. So take note on the percentage part that is supposed to be written as a decimal. So it's going to be 4 over 100, which is 0.04. So this is going to be 0.04 to the power of n, which is the number of years. So n is representing the number of years, which is 3 years. So that's it. We can use our calculator to simplify. That's the amount is equivalent to 600 into, if we add these two, we are going to obtain 1,04 to the power of 3. So this one is you guys and your calculator to simplify this part. So let's see what you're going to have. That's 600 times 1,04, okay, to the power of 3, or something like that. So it's going to give us 6 74.918. So to 2 decimal place, because we are dealing with money, so it's going to be to 2 decimal place, which is 92. So it's $674.92 dollars. So that was going to be the amount that is going to receive after 3 years. All right, so that is your compound interest, guys. As you can see, it's pretty clear on this one. So take note, they can give you, they can ask you a question now to calculate the interest. If you are asked to calculate the interest from the compound interest formula, this one, or from even whatever that you, but here, because on the last part it was there, but on this one, for you to have the interest, it is going to be the amount, which is the total amount minus the principal. That is the interest, not the interest rate, but the interest as the gain that you're going to have, a gain that you're going to have, not the interest rate. Interest rate is something else. This is your percentage, which is your I, or you can write it as your R there. But they can ask you to calculate the interest. So you subtract the 2, that is going to be your interest. All right. So number 4, express the given fractions as single fractions in its simplest form. So as a single fraction, okay, so here we just have to find the LCM. This is 3 minus x plus 2 over x minus 1. So this is just same as 3 over 1. So if to find the LCM of 1 and x minus 1, which is x minus 1, so divide x minus 1, divide by 1, that's x minus 1. So whatever that you get, you multiply to the numerator, which is 3 into x minus 1. Minus, remember you're subtracting, so there's a minus here. X minus 1 and x minus 1, they cancel each other, which means you get 1. But whatever that we get, we have to multiply to the numerator now, which is x plus 2. So take note there, because we are going to expand the bracket. So it's 3 by x, that's 3x, 3 by negative 1, which is negative 3. You expand by negative 1, which is negative x, by negative 1 here, which is negative 2. Everything over x minus 1. Okay, so we can simplify further. This part, collecting like terms, this is same as minus 1x. So it's 3 minus 1, which is 2x, minus 2, minus 3 minus 2, which is negative 5, everything over x minus 1, just like that. So take note of the questions that you're given, guys. It's very, very important that you understand the concept of the question. All right, the other part, it is given that f of x is equivalent to x squared. So this is f of x, which is equivalent to x squared plus 3x minus 8. And we are given gx, which is equivalent to 3x plus 1. And also we are given hx, which is equivalent to 2 to the exponent of x. Okay. The first part of the question, we are now asked, for which values of x are you going to have that f of x is equivalent to gx? What are they trying to say? F of x and gx, they're equal. So what are we simply doing? We are simply equating the two, because they are given these two, they are equal. So this is your f of x, which is x squared plus 3x minus 8, is equal to gx. This is your gx here, which is 3x plus 1. It's an equation that you have formulated. So solve for x. How am I going to solve for x? I'm just going to try to collect all the terms to one side of the equation. So I'm going to have x squared plus 3x. This was 3x. All right, if I transpose the 3x here to the left-hand side, it's going to be minus 3x. Already I'm having negative 8. Transpose the positive 1 to the left-hand side is going to be a negative 1. So from there, I can simply collect like terms. That will be 3x minus 3x, that's a 0 here. So I'm going to have at the end here x squared. So it's going to be x squared minus 8 minus 1, which is minus 9, is equal to 0. So depending with the way that you're going to solve it, you can factorize, because this is a difference of 2 squares. Remember, it's same as 3 squared, x squared minus 3 squared, 9 square root of 9. So you know that this is a difference of 2 squares, which is going to be x plus 3, another bracket x minus 3 is equal to 0. So it's either x plus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. So that's x being equal to minus 3 or x being equal to positive 3 by transposing to the other side of the equation. So that was the idea of the question, guys. The most important part is here on this part. These two are equal. So what does it mean? You are equating the two parts of the equation. All right. So that was it. The item 2, now find the value of x. Given that hx is equal to 0.25, so we are given that our hx is equal to 0.25. Which part is representing hx? Okay, this is our hx, which is 2 to the exponent of x. So we are given that 2 to the exponent of x is equal to 0.25. What is the value of x? So it's an equation that you're going to solve here. So this is a decimal, put it as a fraction. This is paper 2, guys. We can take advantage of that. 0.25 is same as what? 1 over 4. So this can be written as 2 to the exponent of x, which is equal to 1 over 4. Now remember, from your indices or your exponents, whatever that you're going to have, 1 over x is same as x to the power of minus 1. So whenever given 1 over a certain number, it means that number to the power of minus 1. So here we're going to write 2 to the power of x is equal to 1 over 4. That is 4 to the power of minus 1 from this concept. So at this stage, what we're going to do, we are now on our initial equations. Remember your initial equations. Whenever you're calculating x as an exponent, you're supposed to make sure that the bases are the same. So that means I'm going to rewrite this part as 2 to the power of x is equal to this 4 in the simplest base, which is the base of 2, is same as 2 to the power of 2, like this. But remember, there's an exponent which is already there of minus 1. So it's going to multiply 2 by minus 1, which is minus 2. So it's going to be 2 to the power of minus 2. So that's what you're going to have, 2 to the power of minus 2. So the bases here are the same. So we can actually equate the powers, which is x is equal to minus 2. So guys, you have formulated an equation. This statement is just bringing you to formulate an equation. From that equation that you have formulated, for you to solve, you are to work with the type of equation. What type of an equation are you given? Remember, you've got linear equations, quadratic equations, logarithmic equations, indicial equations. All those equations, you're supposed to know them. Then you can be able to solve any type of question that you'll be given. Okay, anyways, the C part is now another part, change of subject, given that ax plus b, have got the square root here of ax plus b, which is equal to d. So express x in terms of that, it means make x to be the subject. So definitely have to remove the square root by squaring both sides. That's ax plus b is equal to d squared. So here we just removing, neutralizing the square root and the square together. So that's what you're going to have. So from this part, ax is equal to d squared minus b by transposing the b to the other side. So to find x, we can divide by a both sides so that this can cancel. So x is going to be d squared minus b over a. So we've made x to be the subject of the formula, simple like that. So it depends with the questions, guys, that you'll be given, but try by all means to understand the situation that you'll be given. Okay, number 5, answer the whole of this question on the plain space given below. Use ruler and compasses, all these constructions that you are going to do. All right, so here we're given that triangle ABC, that's what we have. Triangle ABC is such that AB is equal to BC is equal to 7 and ABC is equal to 120 degrees. So all we need here is to have a sketch. That was the important part, to make a sketch of information. Okay, so just want to cross check something here. All right, there's no other question. Okay, there's no other statement. So we just need a sketch, guys. So remember, on your sketch, this is 120 degrees. So it has to be something of this nature, something like, okay, this is not the one that I wanted actually. Okay, let it be something of this nature on your sketch. Okay, so something like this. So we are given that this is a B. The B is the angle. So this is our B here. That means we can just have A, B, C, just A, B, C, like this. Yeah. So this can be 120 degrees, the angle that you're given. And remember that you're given that AB is equal to BC is equal to 7. So AB and BC, they are the same actually. All right, so we can just indicate our angle 120 degrees, and this is 7, this is 7. Okay, so that was our triangle, actually, the sketch. So let us do the construction now. The construction part, I'm just going to construct it here. Here we are supposed to have that space, but now if I have to go back and this and that, guys, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to construct on this page, but you were given where to construct. So please do use the space that you'll be given accordingly, depending with they are going to give you that space again, but if it is not there, therefore make sure that it's accurately drawn. So I'm just going to indicate here. Remember, guys, I always say your construction should be taken from a line. So here I'm just going to represent a line, which is our reference line, where everything is going to be taken from. So that's something like this, okay? Or maybe I can just, but it's fine like this, okay? Then from this line that you're going to have, this is what you're going to need. We are going to mark 2 points, okay? Not 2 points, but just 1 point in this case as our reference point, which is our B. So you can even mark all the points at once, but it's fine. You can just mark the first one to indicate your reference point. Okay, so this is where our B is going to be located. Then, like I was saying, you can indicate the second point now from this B. We are supposed to move from B to C. So C is actually 7 centimeters from B. So that means from B here, we actually need 7. So I'm just going to measure 7 centimeters according to my ruler. It will be somewhere there. All right, so this is my 7 centimeters from B. So I'm going to mark an arc to indicate that this is our point C, something like this. All right, so I have my point C here, and that is 7 centimeters in between. Okay, then at B to A, I'm supposed to have 7 centimeters, but with an angle of 120. So take note, I told you guys, if you need 120, what you need is going to construct 60 degrees outside of the diagram, because you know how to construct 60 degrees in a better way, where you just have to mark an arc, where you have to, from this arc, from this point B, you're supposed to just have an arc that you're going to have. Remember how you construct 60. So your 60 degrees is supposed to be on the left side. That is where you have this arc on the left side. So from the left side, that is where again you're going to back to the point of intersection of the arc and the line. Then you're supposed to mark an arc again, which is supposed to join the one that you started with at the reference arc here. So as you can see, they are actually joining each other. So by having this, we can be able to join our part here. So let me see if it is going to be properly presented here. All right, I just want to change something here. All right, that's something of this nature. So you can simply join your points. All right, so something like this. All right, so maybe you can just increase a little bit on that side. All right, so that will be our angle of 60 degrees. So if this angle here is 60 degrees, it means the remaining angle that you have here is 120 degrees. Okay, now from B to A, you are moving along the 120 degrees. So definitely I just need to mark 7 centimeters. So like I said, you have to measure your 7 centimeters on the ruler. So make sure that you measure properly 7 centimeters on your ruler. So this will be mine, 7 centimeters according to me here, but make sure that you measure properly. Then you mark an arc with that 7 centimeters. So that will be the point A now. So we are now at point A, which is 7 centimeters from B. Okay, so the last part is just for us to join. Now we just need to join the points from A to back to this C. All right, so that will be the diagram. We just need to join the 2 points. By joining these points, we have completed our triangle. That was the condition, guys, as you can see. So it was pretty clear. All you need is to understand the condition of the question, guys. Please do understand how you're given your information, this and that. All right, so let's cross-check the other part of the question now. After constructing this triangle, now the item to construct the bisector of ABC. So the bisector, that is to divide ABC into 2 equal. That is our ABC in this case. Yes, we're going to bisect this angle. Remember, guys, to bisect an angle, you are supposed to mark an arc of your choice on the lines that are creating the angle, which is line BC and line BA. So you mark an arc along those lines which are creating the angle that you want to bisect. Then we step back on those 2 arcs that we are having without changing the distance that you used to mark these arcs. Then we can actually mark an arc inside of the region, because we expect to have our bisector this side. So that is where you simply mark along the side that you expect to have your bisector. So actually this two must join. So if they do not join, do not worry about that. We have to go back to this point and rejoin these points, all right, like this. So as you can see, they are actually going to meet at a certain point. So that will be the angle that we need in this case. So please, guys, take note about this part here. All right, so from this part, what we actually need is to join. All right, so we're going to join here these two. All right, so that's something of this nature. Okay, so yes, just direct. It's a bisector. Answer the question. The question said you must draw a bisector, so just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm supposed to increase from this way, so you can just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, not somewhere here. All right, so something like this. Okay, so that will be the angle. We have bisected this angle. All right, let's move on to the other part of the question. Now we move the perpendicular bisector of side BC. Perpendicular bisector of side BC. Okay, this is the BC that we are having here. So the perpendicular bisector is the line bisector. Actually, you simply bisect this line. Remember, by bisecting the line, you are simply finding the perpendicular bisector. So remember, to bisect a line, you need to move more than half. We mark points from B and C, which are more than half of the line. So this is actually more than half of the line. So you have to have an arc on top and another arc below. So you're going to have an arc on top and another arc below this. All right, we do the same from this B, from the point B now. We must have two arcs also, one on top like this and the other one below. So as you can see, these two arcs, they meet at a certain point. So from the arcs that we are having, for us to have the perpendicular bisector, we just have to join, which is our 90 degrees. If we join this, it's going to be at 90 degrees. So that is what we have here. All right, something like this. So that's our perpendicular line that is drawn across the line BC. So it's perpendicular, it means it's at 90 degrees. So all you need is just to draw, to construct. That was your question. So just construct the other part, leave it like that. Okay, now we are given that the point D is on the same side of AB as C. Take note, there is a point which is referred to as D. This point D that we are talking about, it's on the same side of BC as, on the same side of AB as C. In a way that AD is going to be 7 centimeters, then BAD is 45 degrees. Okay, so construct BAD. Okay, so this is what we need. There's a point that we are going to have on this BAD. There is BA to point D. But the point D, we are told where it's supposed to be. It's on the same, take note, it's on the same side of AB as C. This is A, B as C, which means on this side. So that is where our D is supposed to be located, somewhere on this side here. But the D that you are going to have, you are given that the angle BAD is supposed to be 40. So which means you're supposed to construct 45 degrees from A, because it's BA to D, to the point D. So how do you construct that angle? Okay, so this is the question. For you to have 45 degrees, remember you need 90 degrees. So you're going to construct 90 degrees from point A. Take note about this question, guys. You're going to construct 90 degrees at point A. All right, so at point A, this is how you remember how you construct 90 degrees, guys. Sorry. You're supposed to have two arcs that you're going to have, which are on the line. Okay. So remember, these two arcs are actually just a anomaly that you're going to have, because you will need the reference point. Okay. So, okay, let me just save. Okay, so like this, I've got the other arc. Now from these two arcs, I'm going to back, like I constructed this bisector from B and C. Remember, we opened more than half and we bisect 9. So it's the same thing. From this point that we are having, we are going to just open more than half of the line so that we can have an arc on the top and the other one below. But here, because I have a reference point between, I just need an arc on top. There's no need for the arc below. But if I need that, I can simply do that on the other side. Okay, I have another arc here. All right. From this point, I have to do the same from this arc, mark an arc on the other side here. So we are going to have arc here. As you can see, they meet at this point. Then we join also on the other end here. We're going to have another arc here. All right, so these two arcs, they actually meet. So that means we are going to actually join so that we can have our 9. So this will be 90 degrees. But now what you're supposed to note is that this 90 degrees that we have is not actually the one that we need the 45 degrees. So we're going to bisect this 90 degrees. So you can even put it in broken line because you do not need this angle. It's just there to help you to have the angle of what? 45 degrees. I think just a little bit from the point. Okay, somewhere there, guys. Just a little bit away from that point, but it was supposed to be something like this. Okay, so this is where we are having our 90 degrees. Now we are going to bisect because we need an angle BA to D. From B to A to D, it must be 45 degrees. Remember what we told. So you are supposed to bisect now the angle that you are given in this case. Okay, so to bisect, remember, we just need any distance of your choice from that point. So we can just mark a point here and another one on the line that we want to bisect, which means we want to bisect this 90, so we mark along this line. So from these two arcs, remember, you're supposed to mark an arc inside of the region that you're supposed to bisect, maybe somewhere here like this. You do the same from this one. So this question was actually a tricky part if you couldn't understand this statement. All right. So anyways, that is what we're going to have. By joining these, we have bisected the angle of 90 degrees, which means we have divided 90 degrees into 2 equal parts. So the other, so that means it's going to be what? 45 degrees, 45 degrees. That's the idea there. Because this angle is at 45. So that's what you're going to have. So you can join here this part like this. All right. So by doing this, guys, we have got our 45 degrees here. So from B to A, D is along this line. We just know that D is along this line. Okay, so that is what we know. But this angle that we see here, it is actually now 45 degrees. This will be 40. But we are worried with this point. Suppose B A to D. So D is along this line. So we do not know the actual position of D, but that's what we have for now. Then, okay, D, we have given that D is on the same side of ABSC. And okay, we are also given that AD is 7 centimeters. So we can now go back to that statement now that AD is 7 centimeters. Now the question is to mark and label D. Since AD is 7 centimeters, this is what you're going to do. We are going to measure 7 centimeters, okay? So according to me, this is my 7 centimeters here. All right. This is my 7 centimeters. So I have to mark now from that point from A, because it's supposed to be B, A, D, along this line that we need. So I'm just going to mark, maybe I can just use a black one. So where this meets with this line from BA, that is where our D is supposed to be. Remember our D, okay, this didn't complete. It was supposed to be like this. It didn't complete here. It was supposed to be like this. Okay, so here we're supposed to say B, A to D along this line, because D is supposed to be along this line. But now after measuring 7 centimeters, this is where we find our D at. So you just mark that point and you write it D across that side. So D is on the line that you have measured your part that you have in that case. So that was actually the idea on this one. So I don't know, guys, it was going to be clear, but that's what we had on this part. Then now, okay, so this part we can just remove it. It's no longer important. All right, now we are given now to shade the region inside the triangle on the same side of ABSC, which contains the points which are nearer BC than BA. and nearer B than C. Okay, so we need the condition that is nearer BC than A. Let's just hope my diagram is going to be there, guys. All right, let me just see if my diagram is going to be completely there, because I think it's gonna. All right, so we have it here. So take note, we need a condition here, guys, that is, okay, let's see. It's nearer BC than BA. Okay, so we need a condition that is near BC. So let's see. Near BC, this is what we have here. Okay, it's now too much. I actually decreased this a lot. So these are actually the difficult questions that they just ask you how to simplify this and that. So actually, you just have to understand the information that you'll be given and mark accurately the possible points that you have. All right, so number 6 now, remember your section B, number 6 answer, any 4. Okay, this one is any 4. So given the universal set, that's universal set, you've got subsets P, Q, and PQ, okay? Number of elements in the universal set is 59. Number of elements in P is 15. Number of elements in Q is 35. And number of elements in P union Q complement is 9. So the question is now, how many elements do we have in P intersection Q? What are we going to have in P intersection Q? Okay. For this consideration, we can actually work with the diagram. That is the major important part. We can actually work with the diagrams. That is, here we understand that what is in the P union Q complement, which means we are talking about the elements which are not part of, when you combine P and Q, that is the one that is outside of the set, like this one. Maybe we are going to have something joined like this, or something not joined and something joined like this. It's going to depend how are we going to have it. Okay, but what we know is that what is outside, like not in A and not in B, is 9. That is the complement part that we are having. So this is 9 and this is also 9. So the question is, how many elements do we have on P intersection Q? Can we have now a condition that there will be elements that we are going to have? So it depends with a condition that we have. If they are disjoint like this, it means the A has got its element. This A has got its element 15. B has got its elements 35, and we've got 9. So we want to add and see what we're going to have here. If truly they are going to be to combine 35 plus 15 plus 9 like this. There's 59. So what is in A, what is in B, what is in and what is not in part is giving us 59. So it means actually there's no intersection. There's nothing in between these two sets, provided like we are working them as disjoint sets. So it means here it's going to be equal to nothing. So that is number not equal to, but equal to 0, because we are saying there is nothing, so it is equal to 0. So that is the condition that you will be working with. Because on this condition, you do not know how many elements are you going to take at the intersection. So it's very difficult for you to say this was actually joined like this. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Okay. Anyways, what are then the number of elements in P union Q? Like if we combine P, that is P and this is P. While am I working with? This is P and Q, guys. I was saying A and B. This is P and Q. Okay. So now we need the number of elements of P union Q. So we are taking the condition, this one, of disjoint this one. Okay. So this one, that's the one that you're working with. We have 15 in A. We've got 35 in B. So we are simply adding 15 plus what? Plus 35. How many elements are we going to have, which is 50? So these are the elements that we can actually have in what? In in P union Q. All right. Then the other part, that's probability. In a test, the probability that a learner gets the first question is 3/5. If the learner gets it correct, the probability now of getting the second one correct becomes 4/5. Okay. This is getting correct, all right, for the first time, which is 3/5. Then getting correct after getting the first one correct. If the learner fails the first equation, the probability of getting the second one correct becomes 1 over 5. All right, so this is what we have now on this part. Guys, take note of the information. So let us see where actually is the question. Okay, so the question is not here, on the next page. So on the next page, you're asked to complete now the probability tree diagram. Okay, so here, guys, this is what is happening. The first one we are saying, for this guy to get it correct is 3 over 5. And if this guy gets it correct, to get it correct again, it is going to be 4 over 5. Which means, what about failing? Failing is just going to be, well, remember, guys, I told you probability adds up to 1. So it's simply 1 minus 4 over 5, which is 1 over 5. Even from this one, for this guy to pass this one, or to make it, to get it correct, what about failing it? It's 1 minus 3 over 5. So it's simply 1 minus 3 over 5, which is going to give you 2 over 5. Now, if this guy fails to pass the other one, it is going to be 1 over 5. What about failing? It's simply 1 minus 1 over 5, which is going to be 4 over 5. So that's what we simply needed on this diagram. Okay, so we have completed our probability tree diagram. Therefore, what is the other question? Yes or otherwise, find the probability that the learner who answers 2 questions gets both questions correct. So we want where this learner is getting all the questions correct. So which means we're talking about here, the first one, getting it correct, and also getting it correct. So this is where we have got the learner getting it correct. So it's going to be 3 over 5 times 4 over 5. So this one was just going to be 3 over 5 times 4 over 5, which is going to be 12 over 25. So that's it, or you can write it as a decimal, depending with what you actually want. Okay, let's see the other part now, which is item 3. Okay, it's actually on the other page. So yes or otherwise, again, find the probability that the learner who answers 2 questions gets none of the 2 questions correct. None is correct. Okay, so this is what is going to happen. The first one, the learner must fail and also fail the second one. So here, fails the first one, fails the second one. So it's 2 over 5 by 4 over 5. Okay, so it's going to be 2 over 5 times 4 over 5. So that's it. You can multiply, and this will be 8 over 25. So that was the condition on this one. Let's see the other person. Yes or otherwise, again, find the probability that the learner who answers 2 questions gets 1 question, only 1 question, only one of the questions correct. So only one. Okay, so what does it mean? If we say only one, it means, okay, let's get back to the diagram. Okay, here on the diagram, it means this learner is going to have something of this nature here. Okay, let me remove this. 1 is supposed to be correct. So the learner can get the question correct first time. The second time, the learner must fail. That is, 1 must correct. Or it can be this condition where the learner fails the first question, then gets correct the second question. So these were the 2 conditions that we're supposed to have. So our item 4 was supposed to be containing these 2. The first one, so it's going to be 3 over 5 along this 1 over 5 in this branch. So it's 3 over 5 times 1 over 5. That is for the learner to get 1 correct, plus the other one now, which is 2 over 5 by 1 over 5. So this one is going to be 2 over 5 by 1 over 5. So that was the condition. So you can simply combine, this will be 3 over 25 plus 2 over 25. So you can add 3 plus 2, which is 5 over 25, that's 1 over 5. You can reduce this as 1 over 5, or you can write it as a decimal, depending with what is best for you. So that was your item 4. All right, so let's see the other part now. 7, solve the following inequalities. So you're given an inequality, giving the answer in the form of, we are given the format. So guys, I told you inequalities divide into 2. So from the middle term, this is the middle term of x minus 6. You're going to divide into 2 from that middle term. So this will be 5x minus 13 is less than or equal to x minus 6. We move on to the other one. X minus 6 is less than 9 plus 4x. So you divide your inequalities into 2 like that. Okay. Now from the two inequalities, what are you going to do? You're going to separate now, so since you want to solve. So we can actually, depending with how or what is best, guys, we can take here the x to this side so that it can be negative. So it will be 5x minus x is less than or equal to, already here I'm having minus 6. So if I transpose this negative 13 to the side, it's going to be a positive 13. So 5 minus 1x, that's 4x is less than or equal to, you can simplify minus 13, minus 13, minus 6 plus 13. Okay, that's 13 minus 6 actually, which is going to give us something like what? Something like 7, is that so? 18 minus 6, which is going to be 7. So 4x is less than 7. So you can less than or equal to 7. So divide by 4, divide by 4. That means our x is going to be less than or equal to 7 over 4. All right, then we move here to the other one. We can transpose here to the left hand, to the right hand side, 9 here. So it's going to be minus 6 minus 9 is less than 4x. The x to this side is going to be minus x. So this will be minus 15 is less than 3x. So that's what you're going to have, because this is same as 1x. So divide by 3. Divide by 3 here. That means we are going to have x which is less than negative 5, x which is greater than negative 5. Okay, so now take note of the conditions that you are given. We are supposed to write this in the form of x being greater than. So on that part, it's just a format that you're giving, but it's best for you to write with starting the smaller one. So the smaller value that we have in this case is this one. X is greater than minus 5. So we're going to have it that way. That is the smallest value. That is one that you start with. So x is greater than minus 5. The same x that you're talking about, it's less than, or take note, there is less than or equal to there. So you write it as less than or equal to 7 over 4. That was the idea there. Okay, so this be your answer for this question. So that's what you're going to have. Less than or equal to, take note, or you can write this, the 4 over 7 is same as 1 and 3 over 4. So you can write it as 1 and 3 over 4. All right, then the other part now is to illustrate that solution on a number line. So what are you going to have on a number line? We need values from minus 5 up to 1 and 3 over 4. So it's minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. So the minus 5 here, we are not going to shed, we're just going to draw a circle at minus 5. Then we have got here we said 1 and 3 over 4. So 1 and 3 over 4 can be maybe somewhere here. That's where we've got 1 and 3 over 4. So we are going to shed now on this one. So that's what you're going to have, something like this. All right. So that was the condition. After 1, we've got 1 and 3 over 4. Write down the smallest integer value of x that satisfies the inequality, the smallest, which means we are referring to minus 4. Minus 5 is not involved, because remember, it's not shaded, so it's not involved. So the first integer is negative 4, and that's your smallest one. Okay, that was x, which is minus 4. Okay, the B part, we are given triangle ABC is such that the angle ABC is 90 degrees. AB, it's x plus 2, AC is 2x plus 3 centimeters. Okay, sorry for that. I was supposed to do this. So this is a triangle. Find, write down an expression for sine ACB. So it's a right angle triangle, guys, like this. You can just have, okay. Let's just put it this way. Just a right-angled triangle, something like that. Okay, so this is ABC. So ABC. So this is where we put our A. So you can put our B here. Sorry, ABC, something like this. So AB is x plus 2. This is our AB, which is x plus 2 centimeters. AC. Then we are given AC which is 2x plus 3 centimeters. Okay, so the value that we are given is to write down an expression in terms of x for sine A, C, B, this one. This is our sine A, C, B. Remember, sine, the ratio for sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So which means sine A, C, B from our soccer tour, it's opposite over hypotenuse, which is the opposite. It's x plus 2 over the hypotenuse, which is 2x plus 3. So that is an expression. So take note, the question is for you to write an expression full stop. So that was it. And let's see the other part now. Okay, I think this one is fine. Let's see on the other page here. Given that the sine ACB that we are talking about here is given as 9 over 16, find x. So guys, remember on the previous part, what did we calculate? We had an expression for sine ACB here, and we said this sine ACB is this one. And now they are giving us another sine ACB. They say the sine ACB that you are given before is the same as this sine AC. So you're simply equating the one that you have, or form an equation. You are writing from the previous part, we had x plus 2 over 2x plus 3. This was our sine ACB. Now we are given another sine ACB as 9 over 16. So we are going to equate these two because they are equal. There is no way that we are going to have sine ACB. Then we have another angle which is different. These two should be equal. That is what we are simply saying, guys. Okay, so that was to formulate an equation. We are done. Then the item 3 now is for us to solve the equation. So that's simply a continuation that you're going to do from this one. So from this item 3, you can actually cross multiply. That's 16 multiplied by this bracket. So 16 into x plus 2, which is equal to 9 is going to affect 2x plus 3. So that's it. From there you can solve. Okay, so let's solve our equation. Expand the bracket. 16 by x, that's 16x. 16 by 2, that is 32. 9 by 2, that is 18x plus 27. So you can collect like terms. Here I'm just going to have 32. Okay, that's 32. If I transpose the 27 to this side, it's going to be a negative. So it's going to be negative 27, which is equal to, already I'm having 18x. So if I transpose the 16x to this side, it's going to be a negative 16x. So 32 minus 20 is going to be 5. I'm not mistaken here. 5 is equal to 2x. So divide by 2 to find x, or x is going to be 5 over 2, or 2 into 5, that's 2, remainder 1 over 2. So our x is going to be 2.5. That is to solve for x, or 2.5, 2.5, or it can be 2.5, whatever that you're going to have there. Okay, then hence find the length of side AC. So what are you simply doing? We are simply taking the side AC. What was the length of AC? That means we need our diagram, that information for AC. So remember our AC, it was here, AC is 2x plus 3. All right, so our AC was 2x plus 3, sorry, 2x plus 3. So since now we've got the value of x, it's a continuation from 2x plus 3. Our x is 2.5 or 2.5. So it's going to be 2 times 2.5 plus 3. All right, that's 2 times 2.5, which is 5 plus 3, which is going to give us 8 centimeters. So that was our AC. So simple like that, guys. That was the consideration. So please, guys, understand the question. Please answer the question. Okay, hence also calculate the length of the side BC. So BC, now this was going to happen now. I want you to see what is going to happen, BC. This is your BC here. So take note, remember our x is 2.5. So we've substituted here, we got 8. So you can write this now as 8 centimeters. And x here is 2.5. So it's 2.5 plus 2, which is going to be 4.5 centimeters. Okay, now you want to calculate BC. So you're now back to say, okay, this is now Pythagoras theorem because I'm given two sides. I want to calculate the third side. So I'm going to use Pythagoras theorem, guys. This one I'm just going to work it here because I'm going to have to work to that page. So this was item 4. All right. So from our Pythagoras theorem, remember hypotenuse is equal to side squared plus side squared. So I've given the hypotenuse, which is 8 squared, is equal to a squared, which is the shorter side. So I'm going to have 4.5 squared plus b squared, which is the other side, which is the bc. So it's going to be bc squared. N of those sides, we can start with n. Since you want to calculate bc, so you can transpose 8 squared minus 4,5 squared is equal to bc squared. So how do I find bc? I just have to introduce the square root both sides, introduce the square root both sides. So this can automatically cancel. So that means BC is equal to the square root of this answer square root of that expression that we see there. So simply on your square root, you put everything inside the bracket. That is 8 squared minus 4,5 squared. So that was the idea there, 4,5 squared, then close the bracket. What is the answer there? Which is 6,6, something like that. So to 3SF, 1, 2, 3 is going to be 6,61. 6,61 centimeters. So that was your BC. All right, so depending with the instruction, maybe they can give us to 2 decimal places. Let's see what was the instruction. Just calculate BC. So this one was it. So it was going to be 6,61 centimeters. Okay, so that was the idea on this one. The number 8 we are now given is actually quadratic graph, as you can see. The following is an incomplete table. So from this table that we are given, it's an equation of y is equal to x squared minus 4x. So from this part, we are given to find the values of p. We're having the values of, okay, it's actually a condition. We've got the p and the q. All right, so these are p and the q. So item 1 is p, which is when x is 1. So guys, this one is just a substitute. When x is 1 and x is 1 is going to be 1 minus 4, which is what? Minus 3. So even by sight, you can see that your p was going to be minus 3. You do the same for q. Here, substitute 5 squared minus 5 times, which is going to give us 5 there. Okay, so guys, this one, not want to waste much time. Just substitute your values there. So you're going to obtain 5. And this one was going to be negative 3. All right, so let's see the other part of the question. Now draw the graph on the grid provided using a scale of 2 centimeters, and 1 on the x-axis and 2 centimeters to represent 2 units on the y-axis. So we're going to have our graph in this manner. We've got our graph, as you can see. So we are going to mark the points according to the information that we are given there. So please, so yeah, I'm just going to mark the points, because if I do get back to that part and re-end this page is going to affect us. So I'm just going to mark them direct here. So remember the first one, it was minus 2 and 12. So we need it above here, minus 2 and 12. All right. So when x is minus 2, y is 12, so direct at 12 here. That's where you're going to mark your point, minus 2, 12. The other one was minus 1, 5. So it's minus 1, 5. It's in between 4 and 6. That's where you're going to have the point in between 4 and 6. That's minus 1, 5. And the other one was 0, 0. So this is our 0, 0 here. All right, so we're going to mark our point at 0, 0 there. Then the other one was 1 versus p. Remember, our p was minus 3. So we have 1 minus 3 here, 1 minus 3, that's here. All right, the other one was 2 minus 4. So this is 2 minus 4. All right, the other one was 3 minus 3. So 3 minus 3. The other one was 4, 0. So it's 4, 0 here. 5q. Remember, our q was 5. So it's 5 here versus 5. And the last one was 6 versus 12. 6 here, guys. I don't know if it is going to be clear, but this is 6 versus 12. So make sure that each point is presented. So this is going to be somewhere 6, 12, somewhere there, guys. Somewhere here. All right. So all you need is to make sure that the points are properly joined together, and actually these points, they're too far from each other, but that's it. You can just join. Remember, I told you can actually do the other way if they are too far from each other, but this can be clear actually. So you just have to try to concentrate a little bit, so you can have something better. All right, so my points, as you can see, guys, you're supposed to have a smooth curve. You can use those refills. They use some of these rulers which can actually have a smooth curve. Just hope. Okay, this one, let's remove this part. All right, something like this. All right, so it's actually not smooth, but supposed to be something like this. Okay, so that's how your graph is supposed to be like, and you write down the equation. Remember, the equation was x squared minus 4xy is equal to this and that. Okay, so it seems smooth, but not that smooth. So try to have something smooth more than what I've done there. Okay, so anyways, on the item 2, on the same grid, draw the graph of y is equal to 3 minus x. What type of graph is this? A straight line. So y is equal to 3 minus x, a straight line. So this one you can even use double intercept. You just have 2 points. Remember your double intercept, guys. When x is equal to 0, you find the value of y. You do the same when y is equal to 0, find the value of x. So when x is equal to 0 here, y is equal to what? 3 minus 0, that is 3. So y is equal to 3. When y is equal to 0, what is the value of x? We are now saying y this time is the one that is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 3 minus x. So x this side is going to be positive 3. So we are going to have 3. So you have to mark 2 points, 0, 3 and 3, 0. Okay, so this is 0, 3 here, 0, 3 in between. Okay, then 3, 0 here. All right, with the 2 points, I'm going to join them. They are enough. Or you can use table of values, guys. You're not limited. You can use table of values, whatever that is faster for you, because this is exam. So remember, we need 3, 0 here and 0, 3 somewhere here. All right, so something like this. All right, something a little bit again. All right. 2 bit somewhere there. Okay, so I'm just going to join now and make sure that it's a little bit long, this line, and you write down the equation of the line on this part. Our equation, remember, is y is equal to 3 minus x. Was it 3 minus x or it was, okay, 3 minus x actually. Okay, so that was the question actually for this one. Let us see the other part of the question now. Use the graph to solve. Take note, guys, x squared minus 4x, which was our y before, and 3 minus x, which was also y. So at the point we're saying y is equal to y. So this is at the point of intersection of the two graphs. Okay, so where the two graphs meet, that is where we are going to find the values of x. So we just say these two graphs here, they meet at these 2 points. So draw using your ruler at the point of intersection straight to the x-axis, using your ruler straight to the x-axis. That value of x is the one that we need at that point. The same here, straight at the point of intersection, draw to the x-axis. That value of x is the one that you're going to need from that point. Okay, so the actual point here is going to be something like negative 0.9, but on the actual part it was supposed to be something like negative 0.8. Okay, but that's what we are having on the other part. So we take according to your graphs. Okay, according to your graphs, or according to our graphs, is something like negative 0.9, but it was supposed to be at 0.8. Okay, so it's here. So x was going to be at negative 0.8, or the other one was going to be at 3.8, something like that. Okay, so that was the condition. Just take directly where this your graph cuts the x-axis from the point of intersection of the two graphs. All right, so that was it from this part. The other part is find the equation of the line of symmetry of the curve of x squared minus 4x. That is, the line of symmetry is the line which divides your graph into 2 equal parts. That's the line of symmetry. So this one, you take it at the point of intersect, at the turning point of your graph. That is where we are going to have this one. Your graph turns at this point. I want you to see what is happening at 2 direct here. That is where your graph is divided into 2 equal parts. So this line here divides our graph into 2 equal parts. This is the line of x is equal to what? X is equal to 2. That is your line of symmetry. So the line of symmetry divides the graph into 2 equal parts. So it's x is equal to 2. All right, then the other part, what do we have? Okay, it's actually on this page. Do we have the question? All right, seems like we are done. Okay, so that was it, just like that. Oh, we are done. So it's actually done. We are done with this one. So it's actually, that was the last part of the question. Okay, so that was the last part of the question. Anyways, the number 9, Now, this is in the diagram, we're given a quadrilateral. So in this quadrilateral, take note, guys, we are just given a triangle, another triangle, the size and this and that. Okay, the first question is calculate the area of triangle ABD. So this is ABD, this triangle. So area of a triangle, guys, we can simply use what? Since we've got an angle and two sides, because this is 40 degrees, so you can use half AB sine theta. So area is equal to half AB sine of what? Sine of theta, which is going to be half of the sides which are creating the angles, which is a 26 by 24 times sine of 40 degrees. So you can just start with any there. So make sure that you use your calculator properly on this one. All right. Okay, I just need to hide this part along the side. Okay, like this side. So this is going to be half of 26 by 24 by sine 40 degrees. So this is sine 40 degrees. Okay. They missed a half there times. Okay, so you're going to have 200,5 something like that, So you can have 200, okay, 200,5, something like that. Okay, so you just round off something that is better there. Okay, 3SF or something better. The length of AD. Okay, so the length of AD, that is the B part. The length of AD, this is your AD here. So this is your AD. So as you can see, you can use cosine rule here. Cosine rule is the best. Okay, remember cosine rule, A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos of what? Cos of A. So the AD squared, we are going to have AD squared is the side, which is 24 squared plus 26 squared minus 2 times 24 times 26 cos of the angle which is in between, which is cos of 40 degrees. So you can actually simplify AD squared is equal to 24 squared. So guys, this one is just a matter of using your calculator step by step. So 24 squared, all right. That's gonna be 24 squared here, which is something like 576. So it's going to be 576. So guys, on this part, actually, we have represented this part as it is. So what you need, you have this, because I've explained this part, guys, before. So I want us to have this part as it is, this part, guys, 24 squared plus 26 squared minus, so this you can put in a bracket, so it's minus, put this in a bracket, so it's 2 times 24 times 26 times cos 40, like that. So it can actually give us something like this. All right, so it's going to be 295,9, something like that. Okay, so it's going to be 295,9 76, something like up to the last digit. Okay, so to find AD, you have to introduce the square root both sides, So that means your AD is going to be the square root of this answer that you see here, square root of answer, which is 17,20, something like that, which is 17,2. These are centimeters. So we've got our AD here, which is 17,2 centimeters. Okay, so that was it for this part. Let's see the other part of the question. We have got the length of AD. Okay, so we're going to have the other one, the other part of the question. So let's see. The length of BC. Okay, so this is C. We want to calculate the length of BC. Okay, so what can we do to find the length of BC? Let's cross-check our diagram. Okay, let's just hope it's not gonna take us time to reach that diagram. All right, so this is the length of BC. This is our BC here, which means we can focus with this triangle here. So here I've got 3 angles actually here, because this is 30 degrees. So you can find this remaining angle here. From 180, it's going to be 180. The angle at C here is going to be 180 degrees minus these 2, which is 30. Plus 40 degrees, that's 70 degrees. So 180 minus this is going to be 110 degrees. Why am I finding this angle? Because it's actually going to help, because we've got an angle in the side which corresponds, and here we need this side which corresponds to this angle here. So you can use sine rule. So I'm going to write it here. This was our item C. Let's write it here. It's fine. So remember your sine rule is A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. So that's it. So our A is the side that you want to calculate, which is BC. So it's BC over the sine of the angle BC here corresponds with this angle of 30 degrees. So it's going to be over sine of 30 degrees, which is equal to the other side that I'm given, which is 24. So it's going to be 24 over the sine of the other angle, which is 110 degrees. All right, so that's it from this part. What am I going to do? Since I want to find BC, I can multiply by sine 30 both sides, multiply by sine 30 both sides. So actually this can cancel here. It can remain with BC. So BC is equivalent to, this is same as over 1. So it's 24 times sine 30, which is 24 sine of 30 degrees over sine 10, 110 degrees. All right. So this is now you and your calculator, guys. Fraction here. We've got a 24 sine 30. So it's going to be sine 30 degrees over sine 110. So this is going to be sine 110 degrees like that. All right, this is going to be 12,77, something like that, which is 12,8. So it's going to be 12,8 to 3 SF, okay? So that's your BC to 3 significant figures. So that was our part C. Let us see the part D now. All right, so this one you're done. Let's move on to the part D. The shortest distance from C to BD, from C to BD. Take note where we are coming from C to BD. Okay. Remember, I always say the shortest distance is the distance that you're going to take, which is at 90 degrees from the point. Okay. So I talk about the shortest from C to BD, which means it's taken from C here to BD direct. It must be at 90 degrees. Okay. So which concept are we going to use? Okay. Remember here we calculated CB, this one. We calculated this CB. We got, that was 12,8. Remember, we got 12,8 centimeters. As we need to calculate this height, this one, the perpendicular, this is your shortest distance from C to BD. So that means we can take advantage of this triangle because we have an angle, we have a side, so we can use our trigonometrical ratios. All right. So from our trigonometrical ratios, this is going to be, according to 40 degrees, this is going to be your opposite, and this is going to be your hypotenuse. So which ratio are we going to use? So I'm just going to write it here. So we're going to choose a ratio that we are going to use, which has got opposite and hypotenuse, and that ratio is for sine from your soccer tour. From our soccer tour here. So this is sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse. So it's going to be sine of the angle that I want, I'm given, which is sine 40 degrees, is the opposite, which is the shortest distance that you're supposed to calculate of x over the hypotenuse, which is 12,8. So you can actually cross multiply, which is going to be 1 times x, that's x is equal to 12,8 sine 40 degrees. So that means using your calculator, guys, you can simplify further this part. Okay, so it's 12,8 sine 40. Okay, let's see if we are going to win. 12,8 sine 40, 12.8 sine of 40 degrees. All right, so that's it. We can simplify. It's going to be 8.22, something like that. So it depends with the degree of accuracy that you've been using before, but stick to your degree of accuracy. 3SF, so to 3 significant figures is going to be 1, 2, 3. So the 7 is going to change this 2 into 3. So it's going to be 8,23. So it's 8,23 centimeters. Okay, so this is your shortest distance. So remember, guys, this was our item D. Okay, so this was our item D for the question 9. Okay, so let's see the other part now. So the part D. Okay, this one is done. Okay, move on to the question 10. The table below shows the information is actually an information about the heights of a group of people, so 42 learners. State the mode, guys. This one, we just have to state the mode is the one with the highest frequency, which is this one. So it's H is less than 100, greater than 165, but less than or equal to 180. That is the modal grade that you're going to have in this case. Okay. Then class that contains the median height. Which class actually contains the median height? So remember, the median is found at the half of the distribution. But if you're given this, it's going to be half of n plus 1, which is the distribution adds up to 42. So we need the half of 42 plus 1 term, which is half of 43. Or you can use half of 42, is fine. okay, or half of 43, the one that you are used to most of you guys, this is going to give us 21,5. So we need to find the 21/50th term. That is, you add where we are going to find the term which corresponds with 21,5, or where we are going to have this number, because this is a term, so we're talking about the 21/50 term, which means it's going to be 5 plus 9. If we add 5 plus 9, that's 14. We are still less than this number. We add again 14 plus this 28 plus this 18 is going to be actually more than 21. So it is going to be in this region, which is the same as what we had our model class, which is h is greater than 165 but less than or equal to 180. I hope this, guys, make sure that you revise the basic part where we talked about this part. Okay, what about the class that is going to contain the lower quartile? So the lower quartile is 3/4 of the distribution. So this is going to be sorry, a quarter of the distribution. Sorry for that, guys. That is the lower quartile, the first quarter. Okay, so the lower quartile, that's the first quarter. So it's going to be a quarter of the distribution, which is the 43 plus 1, which is 43, like that, and this is going to give us something like 10,75. So we need a number that is where we are going to obtain the 10,75th term from this part here, 10,75. That's from this part 10. If we add 5 plus 9 is 14. It has already exceeded the 10. So the 10 comma is going to be in this region that I'm indicating there. That is where you're going to have your answer on that part. So it's it's 160 to 165. So that is the class now that you are talking about. So h is greater than 160 but less than 100, and it was 160 to 180 or 160. Let me cross check. 160 to 165, not 165. What is 165 here? No? This is 165. All right, so that is the class that is going to be the lower quartile. So that is the first distribution that you're going to have. So it's actually from 160 to 165. Okay, from this class here, 160 to 165. Okay, so that was going to be our part. The median, it will be in this class. Okay, then that one in the other class. Okay, then calculate an estimate of the mean height of the learners. Okay, so the mean, guys, I talked about this, guys. Always we are supposed to work with the frequency by the class center. So we have to understand the concept of the class centers. Remember, I talked about the class center, where you add the lower class and the upper class together, you divide by 2. So this one, I'm going to do it here. So we are going to have 150, because it's the class center here, or the frequency by the class center. So 150 plus, like this, 150 plus 160, 150 plus 160. All right, whatever that we get, we divide by 2. That is your class center. So each and every class, that's what you're supposed to do. So the first one is 155, okay, times the frequency, which is 5. You move on to the second class, 160 to 165, you do the same, 160 plus 165, whatever that you're going to get here, divide by 2, which is going to be 162,5. So it's going to be 162,5, sorry. Just have to change this, so it must have to save a little bit. I just hope it's going to be fine. So it's actually 165. Okay, sorry for that. Sorry for that. So that was 162,5. So this is 162,5 times 9 here. All right, you do the same from 165 to 180. That's gonna be 165 plus 180. All right, over 2. So that's what you simply need. Divide by 2, that's 172,5. So it's 172,5 times the frequency, which is 18. Okay, the same thing from 180 to 190, which is 185. So it's going to be 185 times the frequency, which is of 10. All right, everything over the total frequency, but yet there's no need to add, because we're given that these are 42 learners. So you're just going to divide by 42. So that was the condition. So guys, you combine each and every term add them together. This is going to give us something like 7192,5 over 42. Then you can divide. That would be 171,25. So I want you to simplify this part, guys, okay? So I think now we are used to this mean. That's why I'm simply rushing like this, because now we are used to these questions. Okay, anyways, the C part, we are now given that there are two learners which were chosen at random from the group. Find the probability that both have heights that are more than 160, but less than or equal to 180. Okay, we need more than 60, less or equal to 180. Okay, let's go to bar diagram. More than 160, but less or equal to 1, which means we're talking about here, more than 160 here, less to 180, this one. These are the number of people that we need. From 160 to 180. So we're going to add 9 plus 18, which is 27. So there are 27 learners in this region that we're talking about. There are 27 learners. So the probability of picking two learners from the same region, it is going to be that 27 over the total. Remember, our total was 42. Then we are now picking a second learner from the same group. So this is going to be -1, which is 26 over 41. So this we can just use our calculator. 27 over 42, that was the first part. 27 over 42 by 26 over 41. So it's going to be 26 over 41, which is 117 over 281 over 287, not 281. So that was the probability on this one. Okay, so it's simple, guys. All you need is to follow the instructions properly of what you're given. Then using a scale of 2 centimeters, then 5 units on the height, we are supposed to draw the frequency density. Okay, just because here, if I'm to use those pages, remember, guys, they were now too fast, so I'm just going to remove those. All right, so here, yes, so at least it can be easier on this one. We are going to take the first one, guys. Remember, this is a histogram that you're supposed to draw. You are supposed to draw a histogram. So for you to draw a histogram, we actually need the frequency density versus the classes that you're going to have. So already, that's why you see for the frequency densities, they're already calculated for us. Okay, so the first class is 150 to 160 versus 0.5 using frequency density. Take note. So 150 to 160 here versus 0.5. This is your 0.5, your 0.5 here. So you just have to join from this one. Just you have your bar. So it's a continuous part, or whatever that you're going to have is going to continue from there. So you simply have to join this one straight. Okay, from this one, that would be like this. Okay, that's up to 0.5. You move on to the other class. Let's see the other one. So you're done with the first class. It's 160 to 165 versus 1.8. So 160 to 165, that is 160, 165 here. But versus which value now? This is 1.8. Okay, so where do we find 1.8? Here, two boxes represent 0.1. So this is 0.1. 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. So 0.8 is going to be taken from here. This is 1.8, sorry. This is 1.5 at this point. So two boxes, that's 1.6, two boxes, 1.7, two boxes, 1.8. So that's where you are going to have it. So it's just a continuation from the previous one that we had. So this is where you're going to have it drawn. Okay, so what's happening here? Something like this. Okay, up to 165. So take note, this is supposed to correspond with 165. Up to 165 here. All right, something like this. Then we can actually join the other part here. Okay, so I've actually, okay, that's my ruler here. So you can join this part here. All right, so that's it. That's it, guys. Let's see the other class. So you just have to join these ones up to the last one. All right, so the other one is 165 now to 180 versus 1.2. Okay, 165 to 180. So this is our 165, this is our 180 here versus 1,2. So 1,2, remember we said two boxes represent 0,1. So this is going to be 1,1 after two boxes, 1,2. So that's where we're going to have it up to 180. So we're going to join this line up to 180. This is where we have our 180 at this point. All right, so that's where we are going to have our point. Then we can actually join back to 180. All right, so that's what we're going to have. Let's see the other one. We move on from this 180 to 190 versus 1. Okay, so this is 180 to 190 versus 1. Okay, so let's do this way. This is our 180 here. 180 to 190 at this point versus 1. So remember, our 1 is at this point. Okay. So we are simply going to join at 1 to 180. That's 1 to 190, sorry. From this one here up to 190. Somewhere there. All right, that's 270, something like this. Okay. So now after joining, we have our histogram. So our histogram will be fully drawn. That's it. So that's how you simply have your histogram drawn, guys. All you need are the frequency densities. So as you can see, guys, it must look like this. Okay. So make sure that every point is involved or is included in that information or on that graph. Okay, so these are the simplest questions that you can actually have. So all you need is practice, guys. So just analyze your graph. The diagram that you're given here, I think it's going to work properly. So take note, you're given this is 2,2 here. Okay, me just have to change this part. Maybe it can be clear. 2,2. So this one will be 2,2. Also 2,2 because this is a rectangle section. So this will be 2,2 also. This is 2 here. So from this point to this point is 2 also. But we are given that the diagram shows the cross-section of a garden shed. The cross-section ABC is made up of a rectangle, which is measured, and an isosceles triangle on the top here. So this is an isosceles triangle, meaning to say that these with a perpendicular base. So take note of 0,6 and base 2 meters. So this is the base of 2 meters. So this height that we see, it bisects this length into 2 equal parts. So we're going to have 1 meter here, 1 meter on this side. These two sides are the ones which are actually equal. Okay, so that is our information from the cross section. The question is calculate the area of the cross section. So what do we have on the cross section? We've got two things here, a rectangle and a triangle. That's what you're going to have. So this is our item A, which is the area. So I'm going to calculate here so that we clearly see our diagram and the working aside. Okay, so the area of the cross section, we've got area of a rectangle, which is going to be length times width plus the area of a right angle triangle, which is half base times the perpendicular height. So that's 2,2 versus 2. 2,2 times 2 plus half times the base. So the base is this side from E to C, which is 2 times the height now, which is the perpendicular height of 0,6. All right, so that's what you're going to have in this case. So the first one is going to give us 4,4 plus half of this, that's 1 times 0,6, which is 0,6. So if we add, we are going to obtain 5. Okay, these are meters. Okay, so it's going to be square meters. So that is the area of the cross section. So from the area of the cross section, let us cross check the other part of the question now, whereby we are now given to calculate if the shed is 3 meters long. So the shed that you're talking about is 3 meters long. Calculate the volume. So volume, guys, is simply the area or the cross-sectional area times what? Times the height. So this is what we are going to have. So it's going to be cross-sectional area times the height, of which we obtained the area of the cross-section. Remember, it was 5. Okay, so think, guys, I don't know if we are going to finish up this paper. Okay, but let's just hope it's going to finish. So remember that our area of the cross-section was 5 square meters times now the distance from one point to another, which is 3. So if you multiply this, it's going to be 15 cubic meters. So whenever you're given a cross-sectional part, a cross-sectional area, multiply to the height, then we obtain the volume. Okay, so that was the idea here. Then on the other part, we are now given that it is given that 23 square meters of the surface area of the shed need to be painted, and that 1 tin of paint covers 4,5. Calculate the number of tins that you're going to have. So guys, we want to cover 23 meters. This is what we want to paint, 23 meters. And we need per tin, like 1 tin, yes, to correspond with 4,5 square meters. What about 23 square meters? How many tins are we going to have with this? So it's just simple proportions. We're going to give us more. So it's 23 over 4,5, whatever that we get, we multiply to 1. So that is the condition. So 23 divided by 4,5. So this is 23 divided by 4,5, which is, okay, as a decimal, that's 5,11111 like that. So 5,111 like that. It means we have covered 5 tins, and another tin is not complete. So we're going to add that to give us 6 tins. That was the condition, because another tin is being filled, even though it's not complete, but it's a tin that we have that has got paid. So we need 6 tins in order for us to complete the this job that we are supposed to be having. All right, so that was the condition of the question. All right, so I'm just gonna cross-check the other part of the cross-section. Sorry for that. Just cross-check the other part, which is calculate the length of the edge DE. Okay, so we want to calculate DE. Where do we have our DE here? Okay, that's D to E. This one, the length of the edge from D to E. So here we can just use Pythagoras theorem because the right angle triangle. Remember, this is your DE. So this is item D, item 1. Okay, so can I use Pythagoras theorem? H squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, which is DE is the one that we are referring to as the hypotenuse, and we've got 1 squared and 0,5, so it's 1 squared plus 0,6 squared. Okay, so to find DE, we can simply introduce the square root. That will be the square root to remove the square, both sides. So our DE in this case is going to be the square root of that answer that we have 1 plus 0,6 squared, of which you can just use your calculator. This is going to give us 1,166 or something like that. So if you round off, it's going to be 1,17. All right, meters to 3SF. So this is 1,17 meters. Just use your calculator properly, guys. You can obtain this value that I'm talking about. Let's see the other part now. We've got length of DE. Then let's see this one. The sloping roof is to be covered by roofing the material, which costs 640 per square meter. Calculate the cost of roofing material needed to cover the sloping roof. Okay, what is the sloping roof in this case? We want to see the sloping roof, which is in this case. Okay, so let us cross-check where we have got our sloping roof in this case. Which part are we actually talking about? Then we can multiply by the amount. Okay, so this is what we're going to have as our sloping roof in this case. Remember here we got this part here. This is the roof that we're talking about. So you actually need the area that we're going to take, which is the roof that we're talking about is here. This is the sloping part that you're going to have, something like this. Okay, so here we've got 1,17. From this point to this point, remember we are told that the shed is 3 meters long. So we're going to have 3 meters of the shed from one point to another that we are going to have. But take note, this part that we see, that the sloping part, it's also affected on the other side here from D to E. There's another part like that. So there are 2 portions which are like this. So which means we are going to have, I want us to correct from our last question. I think we did this, but we forgot to multiply this by 2, guys, because the sloping part, it has got these 2 rectangles. So we are going to have the 1,17 that we obtained as our sloping length, times the length from one roof to another, which is 3. But how many are we talking about here? There are 2 of them, so it's going to be 2 times this. This is the area that you're going to have. All right, so that is 2 by 3 by 1,17, 1,17, if I'm not mistaken there, which is going to be 7.02. Okay, so the 7.02 is for the area. So here I'm working with this unit. So I'm going to have 7.02, depending with the units that you are having. I mean the rounding off that you did before, square meters. This area here is to be affected at a cost of $6.40 per unit. So we are going to have 7.02 times the cost per unit, which is $6.40. Okay, so this 7.02 times 6.4 is going to give us something like 44.93 if we round off. This is 93 to 2 decimal place dollars. Okay, so I want us to correct from the previous question that we did. We forgot to multiply by 2 that part, because the sloping roof is actually this part that I indicated, but there are 2 of them. Okay, so the other part, not wasting much time, we're given vector u and vector v. Simplify u minus 3v. So this one is just a matter of substitution into the vectors that you are given. That is vector u, that is 3, 9, minus 3 times vector v, which is minus 3, minus 1. So whenever you're given a vector like this, you're supposed to multiply by the scalar. So it's minus 3 is the one that is going to multiply. So it's 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. 3 by minus 1, which is minus 3. So correctly like terms, minus and minus is a plus. So it's 3 minus minus, which is a plus. So it's going to be 12. 9 minus minus is a plus again. So 9 plus 3, which is going to be 12 again. No, guys, this is 3, not minus 3. I was wondering why these answers are actually the same like this. Okay, so this is 3. This is also 3 here, not minus 3. Okay, guys, this is 3. So it's 9 minus 3, which is 6. All right, at least it can make sense now. Okay, then the other part, the modulus of u minus 3v. Remember, we calculated u minus 3v here. Now we need the modulus. Remember that the modulus is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared, whereby this is your x here, this is your x, and this is your y. All right, so when you are to find the modulus, all you need is to substitute the values, all right, that you are given. As you can see. Here we